Hello everyone, Stormy Strike here, and this is a live show tip video, which I haven't done any live showing tips and stuff in a while, but I'm going to try and get back to doing some of those a little bit more, because I haven't been doing those, partially because I haven't been live showing in a little while either. But I have a show coming up, and in preparation for my show, I've realized something. Oh, I'm sorry, I keep hitting the camera. I've realized something, that I have been going unorganized for showing for way too long. I'm going to show you everything I mean, and I'm going to give you tips and all that good stuff. So I have this box here, and you may think, oh, it's a briar box. There's probably a model inside. No, there's not a model inside. There are ribbons and NAN cards, all over the place. And the reason this, well, it's not saying it's a bad thing, but the reason that it's not good is because they are not organized. They are from shows as early as 2011, when I first started showing. And most of them are filled out, like the NAN cards are filled out, the ribbons have the horses' names written on them of who they're for. But some of them do not have the information written out. Like these are all ones, and there's some in the box here too. These ones though don't have the horses' information written out on them yet, because after the show, or during the show, I didn't have time to write out the NAN cards and stuff. So I was like, oh, I'll do it when I get home. And that never happened. So this has become a huge problem now. So my 6 years of showing, pretty much nothing is organized, and that's why I finally started organizing, because honestly it's pretty important, I think, to organize your ribbons and such. And so that's what this video is about, how I'm finally starting to organize my ribbons after 6 years of showing, and why you should not be like me. Don't be like me. Don't start organizing your ribbons 6 years later. Start organizing them after your first show. Start figuring out how you want to organize your placings, your NAN cards, whatever it is you get. Because if you start early and you keep it up, you won't run into the problems I'm having, where I have all these ribbons where I don't even know which horses they go to. And I have all these ribbons that they're all over the place. And it's a pain in the butt, seriously. Don't do this. So I'm going to show you though what I started doing. And also, all these placings are not including the rosettes, by the way. They're just the flat ribbons and NAN cards, how I'm organizing. I'm not going to worry about the rosettes right now. Although I should probably include a note with my placings, oh, which horse has this rosette and whatever. But I'll get to that. And I'm sorry, I'm reading my notes on the side here because I'm trying to do this video in one take. But also, I may have some more ribbons kind of stashed away. I think this is pretty much everything, though. I may have a couple floating around somewhere, but that should be everything. And let's see, anything else I wanted to say about that part? And yeah, so things are a disaster. Don't be like me. Okay, so I'll tell you why first, why I didn't start organizing my ribbons ahead of time. When I first started showing, I had a few ribbons, way back when. I remember my first, placings video, basically. I just was going to put my ribbons with the horses, because I was like, oh, just put the ribbons with the horses on the shelves, because back then I kind of had enough shelf space, because I didn't have as many horses yet. And so I thought that would be a fine way to organize them. That's how I wanted to organize them. And that was fine for a short while, but then once you start making bigger show strings, when you start retiring horses, when you run out of shelf space like me, when it just gets too big and out of control, you kind of really need to figure out a way to organize it. I always heard people before saying, oh, organize your show ribbons, put them in binders and plastic sleeves. And I never really liked that idea for some reason, because I was kind of weird before, and I was like, I hate binders, they're so annoying, and I don't know. I'm a weird person. I love folders, but I'm not so fond of binders for organizing for some reason, but now I'm starting to like binders more. Anyway, so now I finally realized I need to do the binder and plastic sleeve method of organizing your placings. So, sorry, I'm reading my notes again on the side here. Okay, so what I did, I started organizing them, It's going to take me a really long time to get them organized and have everything, basically turn all of these into these. But it's a start, and I will probably need more binders, but right now I have two binders. I have one for my traditionals and classics, so I'm concluding all my OF Briars, OF Stones, and customs in this one. And then I'm also doing one for all my minis. So these are all my OFs and customs of stablemates, paddock pals, little bits, mini winnies, etc. And these are going to change. I'm going to make really nice covers for my binders. I'm going to make them really good and stuff, but right now it's kind of a sloppy-ish job because I do have a show coming up and I'm more worried about getting ready for that. But I do want to try to start at least getting a little bit organizing here. And so you can organize your placings however you want, of course. So if you have if you show a lot of Peter Stones, maybe you want to have like your own separate binder for Peter Stones or something like that. If you have a lot of customs, I don't have a lot of customs. I don't show Peter Stones anymore really, so that's why I'm just kind of throwing them in with the OFs. But if that ever changes, I might have their own separate binder and such. And these are 2-inch thick binders. And part of the reason I'm doing this video too is because these supplies are easy to find right now because of the back to school stuff. So it's really easy to find binders, and the plastic sleeves were pretty cheap. The sleeves I got are just these economy ones I got at Walmart. They were 88 cents for 20, and they're pretty good. I have no complaints so far about them. So they're cheap, pretty cheap, and easy to use, easy to get. So if you are kind of just starting out showing, I definitely recommend getting a pack or two of these for sure, and then maybe get yourself a binder and start organizing ahead of time. And even maybe before you even go to a live show, you could just start kind of figuring out your placings, where you're going to put your placings when you show your models. I don't know. So I'll go through this. I'm sorry, I keep kind of pausing because I keep looking at my notes here. So there's probably other ways to organize models like your show placings, but I think the binder with the plastic sleeves is the most common, and so far I think it's a pretty good way because you can put all your horse's information in here. So I will actually get into this and actually show you some of this stuff going on here. Let's zoom in a bit. So with these plastic sleeves, what's nice about them is you can put basically whatever you want in them. That's flat. So what I've been doing is putting placings and NAN cards in there. Placings and NAN cards. Placings and NAN cards. I even have one here. I'm adding Yasmin to my show string. And so I actually put a plastic sleeve and just put a little note in there to say this is where Yasmin's going to go. So when I get her all her information printed out, because I have some stuff to print out for her, like a reference sheet and stuff. So when I get that printed out, it's going to go in here with her stuff. And so it's really nice to actually be able to put all your stuff for one model of what they've won, any information you have about them in here. I would also actually really like to create something where you can can't seem to come up with the words right now. You see this one has a reference and some of the ribbons the horses won. Same with this one, there's a reference and the index card. Sorry, I'm getting all off track because I'm not following my notes here. I'm just kind of winging it again. But in my region, we have index cards. And the thing is with the index cards is that... I can't use my words. The thing is with the index cards is they instead of the leg tags, we have index cards for my show region. And so I'm also starting to try and put the index cards with the models, not necessarily before I show, but after I show. I don't know, explain it. But basically, I have a ton of leftover index cards. It just happens. It happens all the time that when a horse doesn't place, you get to keep their index card. When they do place, you don't keep their index card. The judge takes it. But in this case, I have so many index cards that are left over from when the model didn't place, but I tend to show them again anyway, sometimes not. And so I end up with a lot of index cards that I need to put back with the models so I can reuse them later. If that makes sense. I'm sorry, it's probably all over the place. I am going to be doing a lot more for this later on too. What I'd like to do is do something where I print out a picture of the model and then maybe also include like just information about them, like general like information when they were made, whatever. And then also have information like which shows they've showed at, what breed they've showed under, which classes they've showed in, like that kind of thing. I think I'm gonna add like a full sheet of paper for each and every model eventually with all their information, everything about them, and just make it super organized, super clear what's going on, super clear how many times that model is shown before, things like that. So I want to do that eventually, but this is the start right now. And like, I'm seriously, this is like a whole new like look for me on realizing how much some models have placed, because there are several models I just didn't even realize how much they've placed because they're kind of veterans of the show string, and I just didn't even realize, wow, how many, this horse has placed this many times? I didn't even realize that. So like here, it's kind of neat, all my flat ribbons of one of my kind of retired showers right now anyway, until I get them fixed. And again, reference sheets, really helpful to put all your references together. Any additional like collectability information, like this horse has like a little like thing that came with him, and so I put that with his winnings there. Another reference sheet. Again, more reference sheets and NAN cards together. It's just super duper helpful having all this stuff together like this. I seriously don't know why I didn't do this sooner. This is already being super helpful for me. And this is a good way for me to not lose, I'm sorry, I'm like freaking out. It is so hot. Okay, this Certificates of Authenticity. This is the one for my, Glossy Simba, who I won at Briarfest. I have like almost lost his certificate like 3 times now, and that's like crazy. I can't lose his certificate. That's super important to have for him. And so finally, I'm not going to lose it now because it's in the plastic sheet with all his other show stuff. And so now I'm not going to lose it. And that's like super great, and that's really helpful now. So this is what I just kind of recommend if you want to, you should, if you plan on doing a live showing, you should probably find out some way to organize your ribbons. It doesn't necessarily have to be like this specific method, but this is one way to do it anyway. And so far I've been finding it to be super helpful. Let me see, what else was it I was going to say? Reading down my notes because I don't feel like editing this video. So I've been saying pretty much everything I wanted to say. So another thing though is, whoa, something just dropped. Anyway, another thing is for these, I didn't think about it last time I went to the store, but I am gonna get dividers for this so I can start dividing things up. And there's like all kinds of ways you could organize these. You see, here's a certificate. Yay! My certificate of authenticity is not gonna be getting lost now. So the thing is, I don't have dividers yet because I forgot to buy them. But I am going to get dividers for sure. You can divide your horse, like you can like organize them, you know, however you want, of course, if you want to do it by mold or by show name or whatever. For me, I'm actually going to be doing it by breed, and it's kind of loosely organized by breed right now, although it's not correct yet because I don't have dividers to really get it all nice and organized. But I'm going to be doing it basically by breed, or like breed type. So I'm going to put all the light horses together, all the stock horses together, all the giraffes together, all the ponies together, all the unrealistics together, like that kind of thing. That is what I am planning on doing. But this is so nice, and this is also great when you buy a horse too, and they come with ribbons or NAN cards. Like this is a NAN card for a horse that I bought, who actually I believe has a couple ribbons, but I just haven't put them in here yet. But so I have his NAN card in there from when I bought him, so it's a great way to keep track of those kinds of things too. And it's just like amazing too when I look back at these and I go, oh my gosh, really, this horse won this much? I didn't realize that. So it's a really, really helpful thing, I think. Like, I didn't realize this is for a custom I have, one of the few customs I have, and I didn't realize he actually has quite a few placings, and I didn't really realize that. I was like, he's like a terrible shower, he never places. I just don't even want to show him anymore, hardly, because he never places and always disappoints me. And then I look back and I'm like, whoa, wait a second, he actually has placed quite a lot. He hasn't gotten like a first place or reserve or anything like that, but he's still been placing, so it's kind of fun to look back and realize that my horses are actually doing well, and it makes me want to show them and not retire some of them from my show string, even though I was planning on it. And yeah, this is just like super cool to look back, and here's like placings for the one and only kind of resin I have right now, and just different things. It's so helpful. I don't know what's wrong with me, why I didn't start this sooner. That's why I'm making this video. So hopefully you guys will, any of you guys that are going to run into possible organizing problems in the future will maybe realize that maybe this is a good time to start organizing them. And it's actually really fun. Like, I think it's fun organizing them. It's a little tedious, but I think it's really fun. Like, these are all ribbons that actually came with the horse I bought. I have not shown this horse myself, but it's nice to have all his ribbons and stuff together, especially since he actually doesn't have his name for some reason written out on anything, really. Like, he kind of does, but I actually don't know much about him, like, at all. So he's just kind of got his, whatever it came with him when I bought him. I also put all these certificates of horses. I think I actually have shown a couple of these before. But I also like put all my certificates or COAs of horses in here as well to kind of just keep them organized so I don't lose them, because I tend to lose these kind of things. So like, here you go. I don't show this stone, but at least I have his certificate. It's organized and I know where to find it, kind of thing. And if you're not really like live showing, I think this kind of method is also good for other Breyer things you might want to keep track of. Because I want to start something too with like my Breyerfest stuff, I'm thinking. Like here, this is a horse, this is one of the only 2 ribbons I want at Breyerfest that you show the first time I showed. So this like placing is like really like special to me. I even included the little name tag for the model. So that's like super special to me, and so I was like, I need to keep this safe even though I don't show that model. Like normally I don't ever show him because he's actually not LSQ. But I wanted to put like a little kind of memory thing, sort of. I also put my diorama entry ribbon in there too, and so I'm thinking about doing a whole little Breyerfest kind of like scrapbook style kind of thing, maybe. I don't know. Maybe I'll do something like that later on. We'll do a whole nother video on that. But there's like a general gist of what's been going on. I'm sorry, this video is way too long. But, and then this is my minis binder, which I don't have much started yet because I'm not showing minis really at the moment. Because, I'm not going to go into explaining why. But my minis have a ton of placings too, because I've shown like literally probably 100 of them. It's like ridiculous. It's a lot. It's a lot to deal with. But, so yeah, these guys, like, I'm starting to get their ribbons going. I'm like, oh my gosh, look how many times this horse has placed. This one I'm super proud of. Like, all the ribbons are kind of on top of each other right now. But I didn't realize how many Nan cards and ribbons like one of my best customs I did has ever got. Like, she's gotten a lot of stuff, and I didn't realize just how much she's gotten until I actually started putting everything together. And then I was like, wow, this is actually really amazing. The other thing that's really great about this is if you ever plan on selling a horse later on, or you decide to sell a horse later on, it's easy to find their placings, because I have a few horses that I've decided to sell, but I haven't been able to sell them yet because I know they have placings, but I just haven't gotten their placings together yet. So this is a great way for me to finally get those horses kind of placings figured out, and so when I do decide to sell them, I actually will have all their placings, and it'll be good. Like this horse I've been thinking about selling for a long time. I still think I might sell her, and so now I have all her placings in one spot, and so I don't have to worry about trying to find them all. And then lastly, and here's just another certificate thing. Alright, that's it. I'm really sorry. This video ended up being way longer than I planned, but I also didn't really feel like editing it, so sorry about that. But that's it, and I will probably give an update on these show binders when I get the little dividers for them, when I start printing out like little special sheets of information for each horse, all that fun stuff. When I start doing that, I will I will, when they're filled up more, when they look better, I'll probably do like an updated video on that later on. But that is it for now. If you would like to see more like live show tips videos, or just kind of talking more about live showing to help anyone understand it better or anything, let me know, because I actually do really like doing these like kind of live show videos, especially while I'm prepping for a live show. It's really fun just getting into all the live show craziness. So you can let me know in the comments down below if you want to see that. Otherwise, I hope you guys have a super duper awesome day. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye everyone!